One of the biggest misconceptions people have about mental health and mental illness is what we see in the media. So, for instance, we might see movies that depict people with mental illness as freaks, as monsters.
Stigma. People making mistakes. People sadly looking at a person who is ill and making a very, very poor choice on what's going through that person, or believing that somehow it's contagious when it's not.
I think society, there continues to be misconceptions regarding people affected by mental illness. But I think there's also been several changes in the past several years.
We really see people who are severely impaired and affected by mental illness. So people who have psychotic disorders, schizophrenia, severe depression, bipolar.
Let me see, it goes back to a long time ago. I used to be in music. I was doing okay for a while when I worked in music in Montreal. But then later on, I ended up living on the streets. I became an alcoholic for a while. And I attempted suicide once. My life was really messed up, you know. And then I later on just kind of got fed up of everything and started looking for help. You know?
The only thing I know of is like the Mental Health Authority, I guess, of British Columbia or something like that. I wouldn't really know actually where to go. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't. I don't know any services at all.
I used to live on the street in Vancouver, and I was one day taken to the hospital, and I ended up from the hospital with an offer to move to a boarding home. So when I got in the boarding home, they had said, you know, we have a place that we send everybody to, and it was Pathways. And that was my first time finding out about Pathways.
Services that Pathways Clubhouse provides includes a variety of different things. Everything operates around the workday. So when you come into the clubhouse, you'll see that members and staff are working side by side in the operations. So when people come in, members involved in reception, publishing monthly newsletters, orientating new members.
We have a meal program, so we provide 3 meals a day. We offer different services, such as laundry, computer, full internet.
The services that are out there for Fraser Health, and I can speak to the rehabilitation and recovery services, that's the program that I'm a part of. And in many of the communities in Fraser, we have rehabilitation professionals right on the mental health teams. So that can be occupational therapy, vocational services, recreation therapy. But we also have other services in the community like clubhouses. We've got a peer support program. We've got some support for people to volunteer.
The services that the Living Room provides are very diverse. Primarily, it's a safe place for mentally ill people to come and associate with their peers. They receive a lot of services here. Primarily, what they really appreciate is our meal program. 4 o'clock every day, they get a homemade, home-cooked meal with the staff try to make it as nutritious as possible. So that's an important issue in the downtown east side of Vancouver.
The peer support program is really a very unique and valuable and special. And the unique part of a peer support program is that peer support workers have personal experience with mental health issues. So whereas I think all of the other staff, people may or may not have experienced that personally, peer support workers come with that. So when they're working with their clients, they come as an equal.
Supported housing is one of them. Supported housing. The part-time work you can get, the TP jobs, that helps a lot. Then I have a part-time job now, so I've been doing that for about a month and a half. I work at one of the TP jobs, you know, at a dance studio, and it's an hour and a half, 4 days a week, part-time work there. So that takes up more of my time now than it used to.
I think, you know, bringing awareness to mental health issues is important. But I think the main thing with any disability, any illness, is to get to know the person as a person and to treat people like people. I think that's the main thing that we need to remember.
What I really like about the Clubhouse community too is that it's not just in Richmond. We're part of this international movement around the world. There's over 400 clubhouses around the world and in 28 different countries. And even though they might operate differently, they have the same belief system. You know, treat a person as a person first, creating opportunities for a person's recovery, whatever it might be. So even though we have structure, a member walks in the door and has certain needs, our goal is to help you with those goals. And it's not just here in Richmond, it's all over the world.
We have a number of volunteers actually. That is kind of the cornerstone of this center here, is that there are so many programs and there's so many members, and the membership is so large that the staff simply can't do everything. So we do rely a lot on volunteers, and the way that it works is this, is if you were a volunteer and you wanted to work in a specific area, you would, we have a staff liaison person that you could express interest to. You have to go through a criminal records check, and then you would kind of specify which department you want to work in. Some folks like to say, well, I would like to prepare meals for people.
I volunteered at association for people with schizophrenia in Victoria many years ago, and my realization is that I think so many people just really want to belong.
One thing we've discovered that really helps develop people's sense of self-esteem is having a volunteer program. We'll have clientele that have various strengths and skills, so we'll try to match them up with duties and responsibilities that relate to their interests and their knowledge. So
the ways that people can contribute to the clubhouse are vast. As I said before, we don't have a lot of volunteers who come into our clubhouse, but we still have difficulty accessing financial resources, accessing jobs in the community.
Well, I think one of the big things, I know this is a motherhood statement, but I think what people just in general can help with is to understand more about mental illness, because it affects so many of us in our lives, whether it's ourselves personally, our friends, our co-workers, people we may not think of have had a mental health issue. So the more that we can understand what is a mental illness, what are some of the issues that people experience, and to learn about it, talk about it with your friends, with your families, what's going on, what's happening. I think that is really the main thing that we need people to do.